Welcome to Business Stories Behind the Textbook, the series where we learn business studies through the stories of real companies. In today's episode, let's discover how one small yarn trader built Reliance. Imagine someone asks you, can one person build one of India's biggest business empires? Most of us would immediately answer no. But every giant business you see today started with just one person and one dream. Today's story is not just about Dhirubhai Ambani, it's about understanding how businesses grow and why they change their form of organization. By the end of this story, you will never forget the difference between a sole proprietor and a company. One dream, one person. Let's go back several decades. A young man named Dhirubhai Ambani had big dreams. He was not born into a wealthy family with factories and corporate offices. Like many young people, he started by working and learning about trade. Later, he returned to India with the ambition of building his own business. Now imagine this. He has limited savings, no huge office, no large team, no investors, just an idea. He started trading yarn and textiles. Now let me ask you a question. Hey champs, a commerce IQ challenge for you. In the example that we discussed just now about Dhirubhai Ambani, who owns this business? A. Government, B. Shareholders, C. One person, that is Dhirubhai himself, or D. Employees. And the correct answer is one person. This is the simplest form of business organization, sole proprietorship. But the question is, why is it called a sole proprietorship? It is called the sole proprietorship because in this type of business, there is one person who starts the business, he or she invests the money, takes all the decisions, enjoys all the profits, and also bears all the losses. So, champs, here is the definition of sole proprietorship. A sole proprietorship is a form of business organization which is owned and run by a single person. This single person is also called the owner, and the owner and the business are the exact same legal person. The owner gets all the profits but is equally responsible for all the business debts. Coming back to our story, there are 3 points that we need to remember. At this stage, Dhirubhai did not need a board of directors or thousands of shareholders. All he needed was the courage, hard work, and quick decisions. This is exactly why sole proprietorship is often the first step in many entrepreneurial journeys. Several years passed, and the story continues. Business started growing, customers started increasing, and the orders increased by huge numbers. Now imagine this. Every morning, hundreds of customers are waiting, suppliers are calling, transport has to be arranged, payments have to be collected. One person cannot do everything. So here is another question. If your business suddenly became 10 times bigger, would you still run everything alone? And the answer is no again. Growth always creates new challenges. As Reliance expanded, it moved beyond trading and into manufacturing, including textiles. Now, the big factories required machines, skilled workers, managers, and larger investments. At this stage, the business was no longer just an idea, it had become an organization. But now, another challenge appeared, which is money. Now, a biggest question for you. Suppose you want to build a factory worth hundreds or even thousands of crores. Can you, as a single person, arrange that money? And here is your answer. It's a no, right? You cannot arrange the entire money. Now, another question. Can one family arrange that money? And again, it's a no. So now the question is, how can a business continue growing without that much money? And here is the answer. This is where the company form of business organization becomes important. Now coming back to our story. This is the time when Dhirubhai Ambani realized that he himself cannot arrange the entire money. And that is when a company was born. Instead of depending only on one owns money, a company can raise capital from many investors. Instead of depending only on his money, he formed a company that can raise capital from many investors. People buy shares, and those people become the shareholders of the company. Shareholders are also called the partial owners of the company. The business receives the fund it needs to expand. Professional managers help run different parts of the organization. This is why large businesses often choose the company form. It supports growth on a much larger scale. Now, here are few points which we need to know about a company. Shareholders are also called the owners of the company. These shareholders have limited liability. The shares that they hold are transferable into some other person's name. And then shareholders receive a share of company's profit in the form of dividend when the company declares it. With hard work, perseverance, idea, approach, and positive attitude, with the support of everyone around. Today, Reliance Industries has interest in multiple sectors. It is textiles, petrochemicals, refining, retail, telecom, and digital. Thousands of employees work together. Millions of customers use its products and services. None of this would have been possible if the business had remained a one person enterprise. As the business grew, its organizational structure evolved too. This is one of the biggest lessons in today's session. So, now let's recap what we learned today. When a business is started by a single person with an idea, it is called a sole proprietorship. And when it grows, it needs more people, system, and capital, which converts it into a large scale expansion and hence becomes a company. Dear champs, students often think that sole proprietorship and company are two completely different concepts. But today's story taught us something important. A business does not become a company on day one, it grows into one. Every successful company was once a small dream. Every entrepreneur was once a beginner. And perhaps the next inspiring business story could be yours. Champs, today we discovered how a small business can grow into a company. But here is something interesting. Does every business have to become a company? The answer is no. Around us, there are thousands of successful businesses that never became companies. Some are run by two or more persons who combine their skills and resources. Others are owned by people working together for a common benefit, like the millions of farmers behind Amul. So, why do some entrepreneurs choose a partnership while others build a cooperative society instead of a company? That's exactly what we will uncover in our next business story behind the textbook. If you and your best friend started a business tomorrow, would you create a company or a partnership? And if 1,000 farmers wanted to compete with giant dairy companies, would a company really be their best choice? We will answer both the questions in the next episode. Until next episode, see you, tata, bye bye, and take care. Hey champs, there is a challenge for you. If you are starting your own business today with 50,000 rupees, would you begin as a sole proprietor or a company? Write your answer in the comment box and explain your reason. Let's see how many future entrepreneurs are watching this video. Champs, this was episode 1 of Business Stories Behind the Textbook. Now, coming soon, episode 2, which will tell you the relationship between the brand Apple and the partnership. Subscribe so that you don't miss it. See you.